You're watching NewsX. I am Rishabh Gulati. Welcome to the fifth deep dive episode of the NewsX Vikas report, which we've compiled together over the course of this new year to get us a pulse of whether India is changing in reality for its people or not. Over the course of yesterday and today, you've seen ground reports from across the country on the highways that are being built, on the houses that are being built and being received by people where they're shifted in, on the water taps that are changing people's lives, on the toilets, do they actually work, do they have water, are they helping people? And so far the perception we have gotten from an unadulterated sampling of local people is that India is rising, and the basics that people like me take for granted, food, water, electricity, is reaching people at a scale perhaps unimaginable and almost uncalculable. We often get the statistics, we often get the speeches, but what is a pulse of the people? So in between the ground report surveys, and we'll be doing more over the course of the next couple of days, we have railways coming up, food schemes coming up, insurance schemes coming up for tomorrow, how they are changing the lives of people. We are stopping to take a snap poll survey, just 5 questions, because the biggest poll that is conducted in a democracy, ladies and gentlemen, is a general election. Nothing can be more authentic in that. But a lot of factors go into a general election: the personality, the party, the organization, national issues, national security, international issues. When it comes specifically to development schemes, what do people in rural and urban areas have to say about everything that the central government under PM Modi have come out with? Is the general perception a positive one for 2022? And what are the to-do areas for 2023 as we then head into yet another general election? So let's put out the survey results on our screens and open this up to conversation. The first question we asked in the NewsX Vikas survey to the people of this country and those surveyed was, how would you rate PM Modi's development performance in 2022? And here are the results. A total of 30%, 30.12% say it was excellent, divided by a majority in rural areas. 22% of that 30% is from rural areas. About 9% of that 32% of that total is from urban areas. A further 41% say very good. 14% say average. Another 14% say poor. And almost everybody has an opinion. Less than 1% of the people don't have an opinion on this matter. So the data that you're seeing on your screens, and I wish we had the final figure, but you can check from the gradation from 0 to 80, 0 to 60 there, that tells you what the final figure is. So the first figure is just over 30%, the second figure is 40%. So the summation of the first part of this data series is that in a country with the number of parties and the scale and breadth, if you get 40% of the votes, you swept the polls. Okay? In specific developmental terms only, just on the Vikas schemes, nothing else, the approval rating for 2022 for the government under Narendra Modi is 70%. Either excellent or very good. A further 14%, bringing that total up to 84%, are in the satisfied, very good, excellent category. And only 14% of those surveyed, including those from rural and urban areas, are disappointed by what's happened. And what is remarkable for surveys is generally a lot of people are shy, they don't want to comment. Almost everybody has an opinion. Absolutely remarkable. Before I bring in our guests, let me introduce the second question we asked in this NewsX Vikas survey. Which do you think is the most useful scheme under PM Modi's government? And we gave people a lot of options. The options were, is it that Arogya scheme in which you have 5 lakh health insurance? Is it the PM Awas houses? Is it toilets? Is it the water taps? Is it Ujjwala, the gas cylinders? Is it the highways? Or is it something different? Now here is a very interesting result. whatever schemes that I could think of to fit into literally a graphic of a survey, you can't put in 30 schemes. People are actually valuing even beyond this other schemes. There is a fertilizer scheme, there are other accident insurance schemes that have come out across the board. You can keep on counting. So the majority of people in this survey, in this case, not the 50% majority, the majority in terms of those who picked a scheme, 23% feel the schemes not even listed in this survey are of value. But on a breakdown of this current thing, Ujjwala has the biggest thumbs up. 16% people felt that that's the best scheme. Another 16% people felt that highway development has been the best. 13% think that the 5 lakh Arogya health insurance has been the most useful scheme. About 10% feel that the houses under PM Awas Yojana is the most useful scheme. Another 10% feel that the toilets is the most useful scheme, and 8% have said that the water taps are the most useful scheme. So this is a question put out to those who have been polled in rural and urban areas of which scheme do you think has been the most useful for you. We've listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 development and infrastructure related schemes, and we've left an option as number 7 of something else. Something else, even beyond this, has got the highest number of preferences, and amongst the 6, it's been some of the hallmark schemes which have been, for those people, this is the most important impact building, life changing scheme in them. I will repeat once again, 13% for them that 5 lakh health insurance against the Arogya scheme has been most useful. For another 10%, the houses under Awas Yojana has been the most useful. So I'm assuming that the people who are talking about Awas Yojana as their top priority impact scheme are the ones who've received houses or received the transaction, which is about 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees, which you receive in aid to build the house. 10% say toilets. So if the toilet is the most important thing in your mind when you're being surveyed like this, which means you've received a toilet, 8% say water taps, 16% say Ujjwala. So it just shows that the Ujjwala scheme, which started much earlier, has had a greater impact from the very beginning. This 16% still think that the gas scheme is the most hallmark scheme, and 16% speak on highways, and we did a ground report from 5 of these spanking new highways just yesterday. Question number 3 that we put in our survey. Has your ease of living, this is something the Prime Minister talks about, ease of living, ease of doing business, something separate, ease of living. Has your ease of living and life improved under PM Modi's term? The categories were yes, a lot, yes, somewhat, it's the same, no, not much. 21% people say that their ease of living and life has improved a lot under PM Modi. A further 39% say it has yes, improved somewhat. So between yes, somewhat and yes, a lot, we are at roughly 60% of a generic approval rating. Okay, I once again repeat to you, in a general election, which has a lot of other things, factors that go into it, a 40% vote share in a very large and complicated country like India for one political party under one particular leader is the hallmark target which you want to achieve. The approval rating for 2022 under PM Modi's term currently stand at 60%. Okay, 27% say it's the same, little or no change. 14%, of which 10% in rural and 4.5% in urban, from the breakup, 13.6% is the total, say it's not improved by much. Okay, so the approval rating is 60% in this question. The next question that we put to our viewers was, when it comes to record in delivering, PM Modi's record in delivering his schemes. One is to make a promise, announcement, statistics, fund allocation, and one is to deliver those schemes. Now, we spoke to the mantris, 12 of whom we interviewed last week, okay? And they are rattling off that, our Awas Yojana, if we had these 2.3 crore houses, we've already built 1.5, taps is at 80%, they rattle off the statistics. So we did the ground reports, which you've seen through the course of the day yesterday, and you will see through the course of the day today. But what's the perception amongst people? Now, in perception terms, how would you rate PM Modi's record in delivering on Vikas schemes? 21% say excellent delivery record. 37.5% say very good delivery record. 19% say it's an average delivery record as a subtotal, and it's only and almost everybody has an opinion, which is again very rare, and is just about 13% who say that the delivery record has been poor. So in terms of delivery, average or above, that is 87% of those surveyed are saying that there is an average, very good or excellent delivery record, not the scheme planning, the delivery of the schemes. And this is borne out by some of the ground reports, because again, surveys of the people, ground reports is actually on camera people saying, okay, doesn't make a difference where, which locality, which state, opposition ruled, BJP ruled, double engine, no double engine, Muslim area, Muslim family, Hindu family, doesn't make a difference. We've spoken to all of them. And you'll get through the course of today, the telecast to follow, get to hear some of those people speaking as well. The last question we put in the survey, and this is a long-winded one, so we're breaking this up into, for the ease of you watching at home, breaking this up into two separate graphics. This is forward-looking, okay? So what should be the development priority areas going ahead? Forward-looking, People's Pulse as an advisory to government, ministers, state and centre. The options were roads, railways, health infrastructure, electricity, 5G, high-speed internet, toilets, clean rivers, others, or none of the above. Now, once again, the very interesting statistics here, let me go with the ones on your screens. 19% of people, and this is of all the categories I've listed, the highest amount, say roads, roads, roads. 19% say going ahead, focus on roads, roads, roads. This is the highest category. 6% are saying focus on railways. 15% say focus on health infrastructure. Just 8% are saying electricity is the biggest priority going ahead. Less than 2% are saying it's 5G or high-speed internet, which gives you a very interesting pulse of how, we who take a lot of things for granted, for a lot of people, the sadak outside your house, the water, the electricity, the local compounder, the local clinic is still the priority before we get into these high-tech areas. So just less than 2% say that the focus above all of this, above the roads, above the thing, should be on 5G. Above all of it. Number one focus is the question here. 6.5% say toilets still needs to be a focus. Okay? So the less people who say that toilets is the focus, the better your delivery is. Because if everybody is talking about toilets need to be focused, which means that the toilet delivery is actually poor. If within 2024 the toilets are actually delivered, whatever 10 crore toilets that have to be built, you should see this statistic next year when we come back and do it go down. Okay? About 11% people, again a high category, is cleaning of rivers. This is something which is gargantuan. It is huge. It's much easier to build a road than it is clean the Ganga, no doubt about it. Okay? So 11% still say this is the roads that are priority. And once again, if we flip this graphic to bring on the next set of categories, as I've mentioned, almost everybody has an opinion. Only 2% don't have an opinion on this matter. Okay? 32% still have other priorities. Okay? Now I'm going to have to do another survey to now figure out. So in the categories given, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories given, which are specific categories, which is what we could think of as important categories. 32%, 31.87% still say there are other priorities which should be the focus of 2023. I'm going to have to do a breakup now what of this 32% is. Now let me open up this conversation. Sumit P joining us on the broadcast, Deshratan Nigam is with us, Tanvi Purti is with us, Gautam Mukherjee is with us, and Mr. Ramakrishnan, he is a public policy expert, is also joining us on the broadcast. Let me kick this off. Mr. Nigam, overall, what is the picture that you're getting from a pure survey that is nothing to do with, Kashmir and this article and national security and whether we are handling China? This is purely on development schemes, on priorities and delivery record. What do you make of this pulse that we've just taken?
Rishabh, in fact, the pulse clearly shows that there is a sweep if the elections takes place today. Sweep for Prime Minister and his team, entire team. We also know that the Prime Minister is very passionate about development and he's in a hurry to do it. His commitment and his humongous working hours clearly point out towards one thing, that he's on a high speed and the scale at which the work is being done. And the 5 questions that you have done out here is 84% is about this rating the Prime Minister on the development. 84%, which is humongous.
That is on delivery, sir. On delivery of schemes is where the rating is 84%.
84%. And then look at the let us talk about the last question that you did. Is the roads. Roads is absolutely important, and the rivers, and people have other priorities as well, which clearly shows the involvement of people in the development process, that everybody has a separate priority and they are receiving benefits. And that too,
Mr. Nigam, what I'm genuinely surprised is generally the can't say figure is much higher, because a lot of people, are shy, don't want to give an opinion, because these are cold calls. Somebody just calls you from our call center and says, okay, can you answer questions? Almost everybody has a strong opinion on this.
Yes. That is what I'm saying. Especially, the second question where most useful scheme that you're talking about. 23% are the schemes which are not even listed.
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of schemes which are going to the people and they are benefiting. Each is benefiting according to its own needs. That is what each and every scheme is touching someone or the other, which is very important. If somebody has been touched by toilet because his need was a toilet, then he's saying so. Somebody who's got a house is important. Somebody who's got something else, housing or Ayushman, the cards which are being made, the speed at which the cards are being made, even in the remotest corners of India, including Ladakh, Kashmir, Northeast. So you would find it that I think any scheme which is there, it is touching one way or the other the lives of the people, and therefore people have given such huge approval, whether it is ease of living or delivery that you're talking. Delivery was 87%, and I was talking about Prime Minister's earlier. I was talking about the Prime Minister's rating on development. That was 84%.
Okay, let me get Sumit on the same thing. Sumit, just your overall perception of the survey result before we take a slightly deeper dive into what the issues are and open up this conversation.
Rishabh, thank you for having me on your show. Sir, what I have been always talking about is development delivered. The biggest underline or the strongest message is development delivered here. In an election, you promise something and before the second election, you deliver it. It's not I am thinking for your kids and I'm thinking for your grandsons and grandchildren. They will see the fruits of development and will make a great India. No. From a foundation stone to inauguration, Prime Minister Modi has a style of completing it between the two elections. That is what the people are liking. That is what the people are amazed at. Now, if you go to any nook and corner of the country, you look at any schemes and you look at any number of government initiatives, everything has a quantifiable number. Let's talk about, even if we talk, for example, a state like UP, you have 59 medical colleges there. If you talk about how many people in UP got Kisan Samman Nidhi, 1 crore 63 lakh, farmers. How many toilets were built? 1 crore 53 lakh toilets. How many people got government jobs? 9 lakh people got government jobs. So when everything is quantifiable to numbers and per particular state, and it happens in between the two elections, that is what people are appreciating. The model or the mantra of Prime Minister Modi has been always development delivered and within a stipulated period of time. Now, these approval ratings talk of that the development for the first time in the history of India has reached the grassroots level, which never it used to reach. We were only told for 65, garibi hatani, but garibi hati nahi, sir. Now,
Okay,
this time
Sumit, I know it was a New Year's Day, but I don't know if you've seen our ground reports yesterday. Okay, and they're available on YouTube if anybody wants to watch. We uploaded them. We're running the telecast again after this. So the most complex and the most, the most valuable in terms of kharcha, okay, is building a house.
right?
Okay. And you can allocate however many lakhs of crores, okay, but the bottom line is, does the house get built? Now, I'm going to ask my Aarti, my producers, to pull out some of these reports and shots from yesterday as well, which will run on our screens. And under no instructions from me, my instructions to our team was, go to the villages, find the housing schemes and speak to the people. That was the only instruction. I didn't say go to this village, in this area, in this state, okay. It was what they could do in 3-4 days. They spent the past 1 week. Sumit, as you know, we had a major conclave the week before. So we only had 3-4 days to actually file these ground reports. And the people telling us that they are getting 3 kists for the building of their houses under Awas Yojana. 50,000 rupees each. At the beginning, you get 50. Once the concrete roof is laid, you get 50. And on completion, you get 50. All the money direct to your bank account received. They've already received it. And the house is built, they moved in. I mean, there was a time when, if you thought about somebody sitting with a register and figuring out money, I don't know how much money would actually go there.
No, I think, Rishabh, let's look at it. I'll give you my example. I have 2 girls working for me in my house. One is from West Bengal, one is from Jharkhand. Both of them, on record I'm telling on national TV, have got the houses in Prime Minister Vikas, Prime Minister Awas Yojana. Both of their parents have moved to a pakka makan. They have got a house now. This is what is happening on the ground. Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile jam, digitalization of India, that has been the revolution. The German ambassador recently said that we have to learn from India. And remember, the German foreign minister was here. A German issued rupee card. She wanted to test with the vendor of Chandni Chowk, buying a 110 rupee dupatta. It worked. I mean, that is the revolution we have got. Then why was these Jan Dhan accounts were so much in dispute? Why have been done? What was demonetization didn't done? If there was no DBT, how could somebody get 50,000 rupees? And what did Sargi Rajiv Gandhi ji say? कि मैं यहाँ से 100 रुपए भेजता हूँ तो 15 पैसे पहुँचते हैं. I mean, 15% only reaches the poor, 85% gets dwindled. This DBT has been the game changer. Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile has been the game changer. And now we are seeing the development reaching the nook and corner of the India, and both of these states are not ruled by BJP. The point here is that it's not only going to BJP ruled states, both of these states are not ruled by BJP. Here, the zarurat of the garib is there. But obviously, where there's a double engine sarkar, the roots of, I think the results would be much better.
Okay, I disagree. I disagree on simply getting into double engine sarkar. Modi's job as Prime Minister is coach and captain, and I was making this. I said, when we talk about slogans, I say my channel slogan is news, not noise. Okay.
Right.
Is it just a marketing stunt? No. Or do I believe it? Now, if you have sat with me or watched my debates, I've done 18,000 television debates. Okay. Is the sum total is that do I do more news and less noise, or do I do only noise and tamasha? And if you say, okay, do I actually believe this slogan? So when we talk Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, regardless of state, does Narendra Modi actually believe his own slogan, or is it just political convenience, Sumit?
Rishabh, the slogan is not believed, it is implemented in large letter and spread at the ground level. That's why, I took the names of the 2 people who are not in BJP ruled states. Still they got the house, everything is going to them. Vaccines reach everybody, medical reach everybody, Ayushman Bharat reach everybody, Prajwala, Ujjwala, everything reach everybody. And Rishabh, having done I might have done a few thousand debates with you. I completely endorse what you are saying.
Okay, all right, okay. So here's I just want to take an anecdotal example. I'm going away to show on our screen. So this is the PM, this Awas Yojana, PMAY scheme, okay. This is somebody's house which they've received. Okay, the statistics can't really tell you the story, which is why the telecast we did yesterday, we're doing 4 more telecasts tomorrow on insurance, on railways, the Vande Bharat, one of the Howrah Express was launched just literally 2 days ago. These are the buildings.
Correct.
They are perfectly respectable places. This is not some packed like sardines statistic creation which is going on. This is, does it have a kitchen? Is the kitchen well tiled? Kitchen sink is there, water connection, separate area to bathe, separate area for a toilet. It has a bedroom, it has a living room, it has a balcony. Okay.
Yeah,
it has a sewer system. There is a 20-foot concrete road outside, and I'm just giving you certain examples. Now here is a very interesting thing. I think Sharad Kohli is joining us also. Before I come into Tanvi, Gautam, Mr. Ramakrishnan, and Mr. Kohli, I wanted to hear this report. Now this is the last time we did a story out of this area was because of communal writing problems. This is Shamli. Okay. Now, this is the report from Shamli regarding development schemes that are taking place in the receipt of houses under PM Awas Yojana. This is no brief given to the reporter. He's gone there and he's found a Muslim family, and this is what they have to say. This is very telling. I'm just taking out this one report, please. Can we play out the Shamli report, please, if you have it?
Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, a living testimony of the Prime Minister's clarion call was what we saw when we went to Shamli and spoke to some of the beneficiaries of the Prime Minister Awas Yojana.
हमें अंतर ये आया है कि पहले हमारा मकान छोटा था, टूटा हुआ था, कड़ी भी थी, उसमें पानी भर जाता था, तो दिक्कत थी बहुत सारी। हमें योजना का पता लगा, फार्म भरे हमने, तो हमें जो है ना सरकार से फ़ायदा हुआ, पैसा आया अकाउंट में डायरेक्ट, और हमें कोई किसी को लेना देना नहीं पड़ा, बिल्कुल डायरेक्ट पैसा आया। हमें इससे बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ, मकान हमारा लेंटर का बना, पक्का बना।
अब बिल्कुल ही मुश्किल ही नहीं होता, थोड़ा बहुत भी नहीं होता अब तो। क्योंकि अब बारिश से पानी नहीं आता अंदर मकान के। पक्का मकान बन गया, लेंटर का मकान बना लिया।
तो खुश है हम लोग?
बहुत खुश है जी, हम तो पहले से बहुत खुश है। पहले तो बहुत मतलब परेशान थे, लेकिन अभी तो वो परेशानी, जो हमारी परेशानी थी वो दूर हो गई।
योजना अच्छी लगी आपको?
बहुत अच्छी लगी जी। देखो हम तो यही चाहते हैं कि दोबारा मतलब ऐसी गरीब के लिए, गरीब तबके के लिए मतलब ऐसी योजनाएं आए, ऐसी योजनाएं मिले और उनको लाभ मिले इस चीज़ का।
देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के द्वारा प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना की शुरुआत की गई। हम इस वक्त मौजूद है शामली जनपद के कांदला कस्बे में, और आप देख सकते हैं कि ये जो कांदला कस्बे में मकान है, मोहम्मद इंतजार साहब का मकान है, और ये प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत बना। पहले यहाँ पर बड़े बड़े गड्ढे थे मकान के अंदर, और ये गहराई का मकान था, कच्चा मकान था, कड़ी इस मकान के मौजूद थी। लेकिन अब देख सकते हैं कि अब बड़ा ही खूबसूरत जो है मकान ये बना है। ऊपर आप देख सकते हैं कि लेंटर जो है पूरा मकान पक्का बना दिया गया है। ये जो लोग हैं, जो घर के अंदर मौजूद लोग हैं जिनका ये मकान है, उनका भी कहना है कि बड़ी अच्छी योजना के साथ यह मकान बनाया गया है, और किसी भी प्रकार की इन्हें किसी को कोई कमीशन नहीं देना पड़ा है। जो 2.5 लाख रुपए सरकार की योजना के द्वारा दिए गए हैं वो सीधे इनके खाते में आए हैं, और इन जो 2 भाई हैं दोनों के ही आवास आई हैं। इनका साफ तौर पर कहना है कि ऐसी योजना जो सरकार के द्वारा चलाई जा रही है, इससे गरीबों को बेहद लाभ होता है, और उम्मीद करते हैं कि सरकार इस प्रकार की योजनाएं आगे भी गरीब तबके के लिए लाती रहेगी। सहयोगी आरिफ के साथ वरुण पवार, इंडिया न्यूज, कांदला।
Okay, so that was Mohammad Intizar and his family in Shamli, which has been in the past a riot affected district, okay, who's built his house, received the funds. Okay, now this is UP. Now here is a state which was under a BJP coalition, is now under a Gathbandhan coalition. Let's hop across to Bihar, Patna, okay. And I'm just highlighting this. This is was not my mandate as editor to my team. This is just the sampling of people that have come in, okay. Listen now to Husna Begum in Patna. This is very telling, very vivacious elderly lady speaking. You got to hear this. Listen to this.
पूरे देश में प्रधानमंत्री स्वच्छता मिशन योजना के अंतर्गत शौचालय का निर्माण कराया गया है। अभी हम मौजूद हैं पटना के फुलवारी में, जहां पे कई घरों में जो है शौचालय का निर्माण कराया गया है, जिससे कि महिलाएं, आपको दिखाएंगे कि इन शौचालयों के जरिए जो है अब महिलाओं को जो है पहले जैसी समस्या जो है वो नहीं होती है। पहले जिस तरह से महिलाएं जो है दिन के उजाले में शौच करने के लिए नहीं जा पाती थी, उन्हें रात के अंधेरे का इंतजार करना पड़ता था, जिससे कि ताकि अगर जब रात का अंधेरा हो जाए उस दौरान ही वो अपना शौच कर सकें। और लेकिन इस दौरान जो उन्हें कई तरह की बीमारियां और कई परेशानियों का भी सामना करना पड़ता था। कई महिलाएं जो है पेट से संबंधित बीमारियों भी जो है से हो जाती थी उन्हें, और कई तरह की और भी बीमारियां जो है महिलाओं में हो जाती थी। लेकिन अब जो है शौचालय का निर्माण कराया गया प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा, और इन तमाम जो शौचालय के निर्माण से महिलाओं की ज़िंदगी कितनी बदली है, आइए उनसे बात करते हैं। क्या नाम है आपका?
हुस्ना बानो।
हुस्ना बानो जी, आपको क्या लगता है, पहले जब शौचालय नहीं था आपके घर में तो क्या समस्या होती थी आप लोग?
बहुत समस्या था, जाते थे अंधेला रात में, कभी गिर जाए, कभी मुँह भरे गिर जाए, कभी सांप है तो मच्छर काट लेता था। कच्चा जमीन है, मच्छर काट ले, डंगो काट ले तो यह बीमारी हो गया, तो वह बीमारी हो गया, तो खुजली हो गया। अब बन गया है तो बहुत सुविधा है, बहुत सुविधा है। अपना गए, अपना आए, सुविधा बहुत है। चलते थे घैला लिए में, सिर पर डोल में लिए में, पटसिन गिर गए। अरे आज हम लोग केवल गिरे, अरे बाप, कमर में चोट लग गया। उससे बहुत अच्छा है, बोरिंग लगा, सेबुल लगा, पानी खोलते हैं, चुटकी से पानी से पीते हैं, खूब अपना नहाते हैं, फिरते, बहुत आराम है, बहुत आराम।
क्या लगता है पहले जैसे कि आप लोग जो है महिलाओं को खास करके शौच के लिए रात का?
Okay, I've just given you a short sampling. You see the full report on NewsX YouTube. Okay, so that is Husna Banu Begum. Okay, this is a Muslim locality in Phulwari in Patna, wherein they received the toilets that were built 4 years ago. 2018, the toilets were built, and look what she's saying. So now let me get Sharad Kohli. And Sharad Kohli, okay, are we getting a sort of a pulse? You know, every case study is, in the end, it's anecdotal. The survey results get a pulse of the people. What do you make of what you're hearing and seeing, sir, from the data that is coming and what you just heard, sir?
Well, data is extremely encouraging, Rishabh, without a doubt. I mean, it's very good news for the BJP and for Prime Minister Modi's government. I think it's sending very positive vibes. Now, see, a very interesting thing about this whole survey which your team has done, Rishabh. There are different classes of people, and you name different schemes. Now, let me take a sample. While you were describing, I was imagining a sample. Let me take a sample of a woman who never had a toilet. She didn't have a house. She didn't have a gas connection. She didn't have a water tap. And the road in her village was broken. Now, imagine all 5 or 6 benefits reach that woman or that family. Now suddenly, you know, she'll be on top of the world because I got my gas connection, I had a toilet built, I have a house now, I've got a road there, I've got water coming in my house, I've got everything happening. So I think there is something for everyone. I agree with Mr. Nigam in this regard. There is some aspect of life which is being touched. Having said that, Rishabh, allow me to say something else as well. That I think another important aspect which amongst the schemes is the Garib Kalyan Yojana. I think that is another very important scheme. I think because that wasn't a parameter, because you were primarily
not in this one, but I'm doing under the food report tomorrow. I think at 8 o'clock we are doing the PMGK, which is 80 crore people every month getting food for the past
81 crore 40 lakhs,
for the past 3 years.
81 crore 40 lakh people. Another very important aspect, Rishabh, which you must touch is employment. That when it comes to each family, have they got a bread earner in the family and are they satisfied with the income? I think that will become a deciding point when I go and press the button at the ballot. I like the road, I like the house, I like the gas connection, I like the tap connection, but do I have enough money coming? I think something is happening there as well.
It's interesting. Interesting point. That's far more complicated, okay? Because employment generation is the schemes doing an assessment is much easier, right? Because Awas Yojana, did you get the house or not is a simple question to ask. Whether you're employed, whether you run your own thela business, you know, work in a trade, have somebody working in a job is a far more complex thing to do. But here is okay. So let me get
Rishabh, just one sentence. Coincidentally, you know, for the new year, I am in Varanasi right now. In fact, I am sitting at one of the sari manufacturers, and I am at their store right now. You can see some sari behind me. And this Varanasi, interestingly, is Prime Minister Modi's constituency. So I happened to speak to people over the last 2 days I've been here. I was talking to the people, and one message which came out is that the simple corridor, the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, which was built in tourism, in terms of footfalls, it has led to 5 times increase in the business activity in this town of Varanasi. So imagine a small corridor being built, although it's not small, but from overall development.
No, so Sharad Kohli, the report we did yesterday as part of a highways report was the Kashi highway, which connects where you are sitting to the airport. And the ground report said that what used to take 2 hours, take 20 minutes. There it is on our
Exactly.
screen. This is the report we done. My producers have been very quick to pull it out. Okay, so this highway, imagine this. We had a guest sitting yesterday who said he lives near Varanasi. It used to take him 8 hours to get back to his village. Now he makes it in
Exactly.
2 hours from the airport. So,
Rishabh, can I make one point?
yeah, quick, yeah, sorry, Sumit, just 1 second. Let me get Tanvi and the others in also. This, Tanvi, now, in the end, where we want to be is a Team India approach, because these things apply to everyone in every locality in every state, okay? The question is, are we hitting a critical mass in getting things done regardless of who's doing them, or perhaps politically more importantly, who gets the credit for them?
See, you can't win elections in a country like India if you're not delivering. 2019's mandate proved that no matter how many questions opposition raised, Prime Minister Modi got a thumping majority. And the schemes that you have mentioned were all started from the period between 2014 and 2019. Now again, we are back at the same schemes and we are discussing the delivery. But I want to ask the question that, the problems identified by CAG or by other researchers regarding these policies, none of them have been implemented in the policy. So, so we are stuck in the same era between 2014 and 19. As we move towards 2024, where is the roadmap? Where is the improvement in these schemes? If we look at the Ujjwala scheme that you have mentioned, it has changed the life of so many women in rural India. But how many refills? 94% of Indian rural women got the benefit of Ujjwala scheme. However, only 3% got it refilled. And this number shows the drastic reality. The stark, problem with the implementation scheme. Why refill? At this status, 6,000 has been done to it. Come to the Awas Yojana. Of course, the benefit of the Awas Yojana, that's amazing. But again, the problems that were identified by the CAG report, that the identification of people under the scheme is very, very problematic. Or, the kind of building of the schemes, which the Indira Awas Yojana that face, regarding the poor quality of the houses. The same problem has been identified by the current report also. But nothing has been done.
Okay, so let us not assume. Okay, one thing you should never believe is statistics. Okay, I mean, we all know what the aphorism against statistics is: lies and damn lies. Okay, so I'm not encouraging you to believe only statistics. I generally take them with a pinch of salt, which is why I sent these people on the ground with no brief other than to show up at where these houses are being built. And yes, granted, we couldn't do 5 million case studies, but we've done about 40 in the past 1 week across various schemes of actually going and speaking to the people and have you benefited, yes or no. It is only on the UPI issue of UPI uptake, in some areas we found people were still not using UPI. About 60-70% were. There were some people not using UPI. And all the other ground reports, there were people saying, we've received the house. You can see it has a concrete roof. And it's a, can we put some images of the Awas Yojana houses, please? This is just a case in point on our screens. Okay, just to highlight this point. And my thumb rule is a very human thumb rule. Do we have the photographs also of the things? This is, of course, the people. Siddharth, if you can pull that out from yesterday. So my thumb rule is, very human thumb rule. Does this look like a decent place to stay? Have the people been able to shift in, or is it still in theory on paper, under construction? And have they received the funds that were due? And did they lose any money in receiving the funds? So if you look at these visuals, and I'll show you more photographs of the various schemes of the areas we could not showcase in this report. It's a 4-story building. It's freshly painted. It has a road outside. It has a sewer. A 20-foot road outside. There are parks. Maybe not the best to park. The house is a balcony. It has a separate washing area, which is well tiled. It has a separate toilet area, well tiled. A sitting area. It has a bedroom. Every room has a window for ventilation. It's a humane place to live. This is not some packed like sardines. Okay, let's put out some more of these visuals on our screen, just as a dipstick test. Let me get Mr. Ramakrishnan into this conversation. Mr. Ramakrishnan, now the simplest question I can ask you is, are we seeing change happening, or is it just a statistical exercise on some Excel sheet, some Google document somewhere?
No, I understand. I look at the survey as a whole, not as separate surveys, because I am seeing a common thread. that is connecting all the survey that you have done. So essentially, the thread is showing that the developmental schemes are actually operating and getting executed on the ground, and it is benefiting the people. Although, as other panelists have highlighted that it is a different scheme for different people. And still, I mean, Ujjwala is one of the earliest scheme that was started by Modi 1.0 government. And still it is one of the most popular along with roads. It's because essentially it has benefited the women. Although, as another panelist has rightly pointed out, the refill has been a reasonable problem. I hope the government will find a way for this, in the next few months, and how to, subsidize, especially those who have got their gas cylinders connection by this Ujjwala scheme, not for the others who already have the gas cylinders. Okay, that is a different story. With the international prices.
Okay, but Mr. Ramakrishnan, the very, very reasonable question that is asked is the follow-up, because, just like, we claimed years ago that we have 100% enrollment in primary schools, but then we realized that only a small percentage are actually graduating class 10, which means that dropout ratios are very high. So it's the follow-up. One is to build the toilet, but to make sure that it's maintained, it has water regularly. What I'm seeing through the round reports, and nothing, this is a human touch, is that the people are more involved because they've got it now. So they're treating it well and are investing effort, time and resources into keeping in maintenance. But is this a be-all, end-all exercise, sir? Do we do it once or do we have to do it continuously?
No, it has to be, done continuously, because continuously in the sense, see, if the schemes are already, they have to identify, for example, this Jal Jeevan scheme, which was started very late actually, because it was not started in the first term, it was started only in the second term. So certainly the progress of the Jal Jeevan scheme will be much lower than the Prime Minister Awas Yojana or other scheme. Even in my village, I have seen that more than 50 houses have been refurbished, because houses, everybody has a house, but the houses are in dilapidated. Some of the houses are in bad condition. So they have got the, they have got the benefit, financial benefit.
I can't explain. I know Gautam Mukherjee is with us, and we generally sit and we're discussing China, or we're discussing space technology or semiconductor plants that we need to build, and which is all stuff that also needs to happen at a different end. But at a very basic end, Gautam Mukherjee, and it's been very touching, almost to tears. I've been going through all these reports from the raw feeds that have been coming in for the past few days. It's very moving that a simple tap, the concrete roof over your head, okay, just moving into a house with a concrete roof. It's so emotional for a lot of people.
Yes, this point is well taken, but one of the things that occurs to me is that it is politically very courageous to look at the entire bottom of the pyramid, the poor or the low-income groups, and provide them facilities, myriad facilities across the board. Now you're doing this, the momentum has picked up from 14 to 19 and on towards 24. What will be the result in 24 in terms of partisan voting? Will people take the benefit but vote not as expected for the BJP? It could be, or it could be that people will understand that for years together, decades together, people have promised things and not delivered. And now, even though it may not be in full measure, a great deal of delivery and in a comprehensive manner has been attempted, and promises to keep on being attempted.
Okay, so there might be political benefit or not, Gautam Mukherjee, but just in terms of critical mass, okay, of providing basic amenities to people, which means that if you're not spending X number of hours a day, the toilet report, Akshay Kumar has made movies about this now, but that, just the understanding of my reporters showing where these women actually used to go to the toilet, some ganda nala, okay, and them explaining that, listen, wild animals it was a major problem for us, because we could only step out at night, because and if a car drove by, imagine if you are living as a human being, okay, just as a human being, I just want to think of it watching this telecast, you are unable to go to the toilet during the day, so you are holding it in because you can only go after sunset. it is very difficult for people like me who live in a house where this is not an issue at all, to think that I can't go to the bathroom because the sun is not set. It's Gautam Mukherjee, regardless of the political benefit, okay, what is the pulse that you're getting? I'm going to come back to the survey after this.
Well, it's undeniable what you have created here, and all the general intent behind it, the execution, all of it suggests something that should have been done years ago, but at least is being done now. So that is undeniable. What it will achieve politically, however, remains to be seen.
Okay, no, I don't want to get into what for 70 years Congress did nothing and all that. There was a time when the British left and India was reeling under famine. Just feeding ourselves was a major achievement. That happened in the 1960s. So the question is, on delivery, are we at a critical mass? Because you cannot change as a country if you don't change the lives of its people, many of whom were still living like the British era had never ended. You still have to go to the khet with a lota, you still have no electricity, you still have no running water, you have to go to the kuwa and pump water for hours every day. I mean, they were living like nothing had changed. And now things are changing. And it is very telling. This was not my brief to my reporters. I did not tell them go to Muslim area, go to Hindu area. It was just go get the reports. Some of them obviously happen to be from Muslim areas. Very telling that they've actually received the house. They're sitting in the house. Okay, they've got the toilet, and this lady, a gregarious lady, okay, saying that, I used to fall down in the khet, I'm old, okay, and now this has changed my life. Husna Bano Begum. Okay, so let me get back to Mr. Nigam. Mr. Nigam, let's come back to the survey for the few minutes that we have left in the telecast. When we say, and you began by saying that if an election would be held today, okay, this shows a high popularity rating for Narendra Modi. There are a lot of other factors that go into an election, sir. In terms of Modi's promise and delivery, is it that going to be the 2024 factor? Is it Modi versus Modi, or is it Modi versus the opposition who has better ideas?
Rishabh, in fact, Mr. Modi, sets a benchmark for himself. Others don't set it for him. And then others try to follow him. Now, there was a time when, as Sumit said, only 10 to 15 paisa out of 1 rupee used to reach. And there was a prime minister who said money does not grow on trees. And then you have a government who went through difficult times, COVID, and the World Bank and the IMF says India is the only shining example. Then you tend to think from where the money is coming. Therefore, this government, I'm not an economist, must be doing something right. They plugged the leakages, and from the leakages created a huge fund which is going to the people again. Therefore, the mode and style of development today is participative, not the top-down approach. That where you see the people have been given loans, you make your own house. You will get the money directly into your account. Make your own house. So the quality, you control the quality. The government contractor does not control the quality. The huge amount of, this money which is gone as loans, as you said, 50,000 as you put a lender, and then 50,000. So in installments, 3 kish that you were talking about. So there is no gap in promise and delivery so far as Mr. Modi is concerned. And that is what will keep him in good stead.
So let's not assume it's cent%. Okay, I'm not making that assumption. It'll be naive and foolish for anybody to think that there is cent%, everything's perfect. Absolutely not. Okay. If everything's perfect, we can all go home. There's no reason for this conversation. Obviously not. We are still a developing country, long way to go. But Sumit P, now let me take it from the different point of view. On the political thing from this survey, okay? When we talk about development schemes, you have an Arvind Kejriwal who says, I built the schools, I've improved electricity, I give free water, okay, also provided. Now, then we are told that this is all Revdi culture. So what is the difference between development and Revdis?
Rishabh, there's a big development. First of all, the development needs to be given to those who really need it. 43 lakh houses, for example, were given to the people in UP who needed house, jiske paas pakka makka nahi. Kisan Samman Nidhi was given to a kisan. Why somebody living in a Sainik farm needs a bijli pani free? His property is worth 100 crores or 150 crores. Why are you giving 150 crores to him? Give to the people who need it and don't use it as an election plank. For example, I'll give you one more example. We were discussing that we spent 934 crores on Kashi corridor. Today, as per Oyo Rooms, the number one booked place in Indian tourist is Kashi. Kashi. I'll give you one more number. Kashmir, 1.62 crore tourists. Goa was number one with 3.5. But you know what is the number one destination today? Kashi with 10 crore people have come there. Kashi. Imagine they're spending 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. See how much the economy benefited. Investing the money where it needs. Now with Ram Mandir and all coming up, see the amount of money it can get in. So investing in the schemes which can benefit money, but not subsidizing the rich.
Okay. But the big loaded question, Sharad Kohli, is that at what point of time does this actually become universal? Now, if you come to my house, or Sharad Kohli, honestly, if I self-invite myself to your house, there might be, one electricity socket that's not working, or, you might have a geyser which has a fault, or an AC that is not coming on. I mean, we all have something or the other wrong in our houses. So if you want to nitpick, you will find wrong things. Okay. But overall, we have a decent standard of living. We can do better, we can aspire for more, but we have a decent standard of living. At what point of time do we actually say that the decent standard of living has been provided to the vast majority of Indians?
Well, that point, Rishabh, would be where everybody is able to have their 2 or 3 meals a day comfortably. They are able to bring up their children properly. They are able to send their children to schools properly. If they fall ill, they've got a hospital to attend to. And they are able to live their life in a smooth manner. They don't have to run from pillar to post for their basic needs. Now, very important point, Rishabh, here is that when you make a road, the road has to be maintained. When you provide a gas connection, the piece, I think these are the critical points which the BJP will have to think. When you provide a tap connection, the water should flow into it. When you make a house, you should make sure that the house, because then what happens is a very pertinent point. When you provide an amenity, when the development takes place, and that development gets marred because of lack of follow-up or lack of maintenance, then it really hurts, because you get used to that. You get used to that. And if that is not maintained, they say, Vada to bahut bada kiya tha.
No, but Sharad Kohli, also aspiration, this is a good cycle, but aspiration doesn't stop. No, so the guy who's got his house, then tomorrow he's buying a mobike or a scooty, then you need to create parking.
Exactly.
Okay, then he needs a shop, then he needs a school which is nearby. Tomorrow you need, a bus facility, a metro facility. So it has to go on. True. So what's the path forward then?
Well, that's the point, because the aspirations don't stop. You set a benchmark for yourself and you want to move ahead.
Correct.
And when people have short memories, they forget that once they didn't have a house on their head. So they forget that. So the moment you forget that, you start looking at the next level. That is where the challenge for the government comes. And where does the money come? I think Mr. Nigam is a very veteran. But I would say that our public debt right now is 147 lakh crore, all-time high. So the government has gone ahead and borrowed money. Fiscal deficit is at high. But then, if it's all for the people, it's welcome at all times.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Tanvi, let's get into then what now needs to be done, so that at least, I'm not even saying in our lifetimes anymore, that within years, not decades, we can actually travel this country and reasonably rest assured that the people that we are meeting, regardless of which locality, which area, I mean, I was doing a report yesterday about a highway that is being built in Narnaul in Haryana. Forget Delhi, Meerut, Delhi, Bombay, we've all heard of. But everywhere, that there is a basic standard of living, and then we can qualify ourselves as developed. Tanvi.
That's the dream, Rishabh, seriously. I mean, I'm kind of waiting for that day, where Roti Kapda Makan won't be an election issue, that won't be a topic of debate. And, we will be talking about, how many more highways, how many more metro networks connecting the rural to the urban India. So that's a dream. But I think the biggest challenge to that India achieving that dream under whoever becomes the prime minister, currently the problem lies with the center-state relationship. You see, a lot of the policies that you just mentioned also depend on how the states will implement them, because centers effectively transfer funds to states. And currently what we are seeing is the trust deficit between the opposition-led states and Modi government not trying to build that gap. So, so you can build as many kind of roadways as you want. Nitin Gadkari sir has done a fantastic job, but you need to build that road of trust with the opposition parties who are ruling the various states, so that those policies can be
but Tanvi,
implemented
is there, even though it's grudging and understandably, and I must give credit to an Aam Aadmi party here, when if Modi is doing something good, they copy him, and when they think he's not doing good, they challenge him. That's a good way of doing politics. But is there, if something is going right, okay, that something has been done. Now, I got out of my house to take my parents to Haridwar about a year or so ago, and turned into this Meerut highway. I read about it, but I didn't know when it started. It just started, and half an hour later, I was in Meerut. Okay, and I've lived in Delhi all my life, and I know that was a multi-hour exercise earlier. I mean, you don't really want to go to Meerut unless there's some desperate reason to do so. It was something changed. I felt that there is some change that I've just seen that did not exist before. Is there some grudging replication that should be done?
No, not at all. You can always appreciate what Modi government is doing right. So I don't think that's the way to go about it. And I don't think, I have seen some of the Congress leaders praising Nitin Gadkari's ministry for doing a fantastic job for creating the web of roadways and highways. So nobody is even questioning Modi government on that. You will be questioned where you lack, and that's where the government also needs to work.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, there's no such thing as perfect governance. It's not humanly, physically possible in any country. I mean, look what's happening in the most developed country like America. Okay, let me quickly get Mr. Ramakrishnan back in as a wind up this telecast. I'll leave last few thoughts with Sumit and with Ms. Nigam. Mr. Ramakrishnan, what is then the assessment for 2023? What have we managed to achieve, regardless, and whether it's PM, Mantris, BJP, opposition, Congress, it's build up to an election year. This budget coming up will be the last full budget. Next year will be some kind of de facto interim budget. So in the next 1 month and the next 12 months, what are the opportunities to get things done, and does that, according to you, have a political significance?
Thank you. So first of all, I will say that the schemes are complementary to each other. For example, Jal Jeevan is promoting more usage of toilets, because only when you get water, copious water in your home, you will be able to use your toilet efficiently. Otherwise, you tend to, despite having toilet, you will go outside. So, so housing, then toilet, and then, these things are actually comes, Jal Jeevan, and all the three are in the same line. So when all these schemes are implemented one after another, the benefit will be felt more by the people, by the beneficiaries, than otherwise. That's first thing. Second thing is, irrespective of the government, state government, which is whether it is opposition or BJP, the benefits have gone to the last person. That I have seen it from my place, native state, Tamil Nadu, where I have visited my native place, and I have told that more than 50 people are benefited from the Prime Minister Awas Yojana. But the benefit of these schemes may not be, as Mr. Dr. Nigam has pointed out, it will be a sweeping victory. That is not going to be the case.
Yeah, so everything doesn't translate into votes, but as long as it translates into development, which is the goal in itself.
When the voters have a prejudice against BJP and Modi, then the votes don't get transferred. When they don't have a prejudice and prejudice against Modi and BJP,
there are politicians who say you can't get, you vote on emotion and you can't get emotional about a road, but maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe I got truly emotional. And this is not particularly BJP repair. I'm a big believer in this country. I just believe in this country. It's almost, I don't want to call it a blind belief, but I just believe in this country.
But again, for this 2023, because this is the last year, so now actually the last year is more or less this is a model that Mr. Modi has perfected even in Gujarat. The first 2 years he will be concentrating more on policy and programs, and then changes, and then the next 3 years he will be concentrating on the implementation. So this is what I call it as good economics is.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's do a self-assessment on this. Okay.
This is what the government should do.
Okay, Gautam Mukherjee, just doing a self-assessment. Okay, if you are government, okay, and you got the data, some of the data might be an exaggeration, some of it might be faulty, but you have a better understanding. Okay, and you're sitting down and you're doing a self-assessment report card. What should that be now a priority for 2023? Are we going to see a relapse into temptation of high optics, high passion, high drama, which is what politics is also about? Or do you just suspect that the focus will remain on these hardcore basic level development?
I think the hardcore basic level developments, as in all this that we've been talking about, will continue, but they do not have the emotive appeal of something that can motivate the core voter. And I think in 23 going into 24, particularly second half, based on some of the assembly election results and so on, if all goes well, there will be emotive issues which are on the anvil.
No, you can see them happening. I mean, what's going on in this Belgavi thing between Maharashtra and Karnataka? Everybody knows Karnataka elections are coming up. You're trying to whip up an emotive issue over there. So these calculations do happen. Deshratan Nigam, is there a temptation now, or have we fundamentally changed our politics? That in the end is, Ram Mandir is no longer an issue, Kashmir is no longer an issue, Pakistan is no longer an issue, China maybe is still an issue. But do we relapse into running politics, or do we just keep running, putting the jal, taps, roads and think that's good enough?
Well, Rishabh, in fact, development plus emotive issue is a sure shot recipe for a winner. And therefore, emotive issues do crop up. We don't.
So what is it? Is it going to be Mathura? We know the Ram Mandir is going to be inaugurated in a few months. Is that going to be enough? And will we lose our focus on these matters because of those?
No. We have never lost that focus, and that focus on development will continue. See, Ram Mandir will, obviously BJP will get credit. They stood by it, they worked through it, they worked in the Supreme Court where the others were opposing in Supreme Court.
Okay, so let me ask the question to Tanvi Purti. I'm short of time. Tanvi Purti, is it legitimate for Narendra Modi and the BJP to take credit on things that have gone well? Tanvi, if you can hear us.
I believe they're not. It's the theatrics, it's the emotive element that plays the most role. So we'll have to see that what sort of emotions will go into 2024 elections, whether it will be UCC, whether it will be Mathura or whatever. But yes, they will play a key role in 2024 elections.
Okay, it's predictable. UCC is definitely one of them. It's going to be Kashi and Mathura. It's certainly, you see in Karnataka elections, Belgavi has become the biggest issue because it's on emotion. It's not on pure developmental grounds, let's be honest, that this simmering problem for the past 80 years is now being taken up. Quick interjection. Sharat Kohli wants to make a small interjection and I'll leave the last word with Sumit. Guys, it's 10 seconds each, please. I'm over time already.
Very quick, Rishabh. There is going to be a third dimension now. So development, emotive issue, and there's going to be freebies as well. I think that's the new dimension.
Okay. So there are going to be SOPs. You can't do elections without SOPs, which of course is not hardcore development. That becomes Revadi. Let's see if it happens or not. Last word, Sumit Peer.
Rishabh, three things: Vishwaguru, development, dharma, and let's remember that in geopolitics, Ram Mandir is the third pole of geopolitics, which was denied to us by the world. It's Prime Minister Modi who got us on the world's geopolitical map.
I'm a big proponent.
Vatican and Ram Mandir and Ayodhya. There are the three poles now.
I think, on a completely different thing that won't win you votes in India per se, but it is a reflection of India, of the Loktantrik, democratic status of this country as a Vishwaguru, which is the terminology Sumit is used, which is part of our G20 terminology also. I'm going to do a separate telecast, ladies and gentlemen, on that. For now, the survey results, which is the midpoint of our 10-hour, 10-episode Vikas report to end 2022 and bring in 2023, have just told us that when it comes to an approval rating for a Narendra Modi, overall approval rating, 84% people feel that his development performance has been average, very good or excellent. When it comes to a delivery rating, another 80% people are very happy. 60% plus think that their lives has improved either a little bit or quite a lot. And when it comes to hardcore development, again 80% people think that his delivery is average, very good or excellent. Only 13% feel that the delivery has been poor. That's it in summation. We take a break. Thank you to my guests. We see you in a minute.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.